A quiet suburb, a door left open, a home moments away from horror. 3 murders. No theft, no struggle. Just cold, calculated execution. An ex-husband drowning in failure and hungry for millions. A videotaped alibi, too perfect to trust. And a book, a manual, laying out every step. All leading to one chilling truth. This is the murder that followed Emmanuel. On the morning of March 3rd, 1993, Mildred Horn's sister arrived at her home in Silver Spring, Maryland. Right away, she sensed something was wrong. The garage doors were open, and Mildred's minivan was gone. Inside the house, she walked into a scene far worse than she could have ever imagined. 3 people were dead: a 43-year-old Mildred Horn, her 8-year-old son, Trevor, and his night nurse, Janice Saunders. A brutal triple homicide. Police arrived within minutes. Inside the bedroom, 43-year-old Mildred Horn lay on the floor, shot 3 times in the head. 8-year-old Trevor Horn, born brain-damaged, lay lifeless beside his respirator, disconnected. And 38-year-old Janice Saunders, the night nurse, was shot twice, 1 bullet straight through the eye. Detectives scanned the scene. Jewelry, electronics, untouched. Nothing stolen. Only Mildred's minivan and her credit cards were missing. Both later found abandoned nearby. This wasn't a robbery. It was an assassination. Detectives began asking questions, and one name surfaced again and again: Lawrence Horn, Mildred's ex-husband, a former Motown sound engineer from Los Angeles. Once he'd worked with music legends, the Four Tops, Smokey Robinson, but by the 1990s, Horn's career had collapsed. He was broke and behind on child support. But there was one thing he hadn't lost: motive. Years earlier, their son Trevor had received a $2 million trust fund after a hospital accident. Money that could only be used for Trevor's care. Money Lawrence couldn't touch unless Trevor and Mildred died. When police reached Horn in Los Angeles, his response shocked them. He didn't ask who was killed. He didn't ask how. He just asked, "Am I a suspect?" Horn said he was home that night, 3,000 miles away. He even had proof: a strange videotape showing him awake and talking at 11:45 p.m. California time, exactly 2:45 a.m. in Maryland, the moment of the murders. Detectives called it the alibi tape, but something about it felt rehearsed, almost scripted. It wasn't an alibi, it was an act. As investigators dug deeper, the cracks began to show. Horn's daughter, Tiffany, told detectives her father once asked her to film her mother's house. The windows, the doors, even Trevor's bedroom. He said it was for memories. Now, detectives knew better. He'd been planning something. Inside Horn's apartment, they found a hand-drawn map of Mildred's neighborhood. A red X marked her house. This wasn't random. This was a blueprint. Phone records soon revealed a hidden connection. Horn had been making repeated calls to Detroit. The number belonged to James Edward Perry, a convicted bank robber posing as a spiritual advisor. But Perry's true business wasn't salvation. It was murder. Through a mutual contact, Horn's cousin, Thomas Turner, the two had struck a deal. Perry would travel to Maryland, eliminate Horn's family, and make it look like a robbery. In return, Horn would pay him once he received the trust money. It was cold, calculated, contracted. On March 2nd, 1993, Perry checked into a Maryland motel, just miles from Mildred's home. He bought ammunition, gloves, and tape. That night, he broke in. He shot Mildred first, then the nurse, and finally, little Trevor, a helpless boy on life support. He pulled the plug and left him to die. Then he stole a van, scattered gun parts across the highway, and disappeared, just like the manual said. When police searched Perry's home, they found his guide, a book titled Hitman, a technical manual for independent contractors. It was published by Paladin Press, a real company in Colorado. Inside were step-by-step instructions for murder. Use a .22 caliber weapon. Drill out the serial number. Wear gloves. Make it look like a burglary. Dump the gun along the highway. Every move Perry made followed those exact steps. He had literally followed a manual for murder. Investigators now had the motive, the killer, and the connection. Wiretaps caught Perry and Horn exchanging cryptic messages about projects, deliveries, and payments. Detectives traced Western Union transfers from Los Angeles to Detroit, sent under a fake name, George Bernard Shaw, a man who'd been dead for years. That was the final piece. Horn had paid his hitman using the identity of a man who'd been dead for years. On July 19, 1994, FBI agents surrounded Horn's Los Angeles apartment. He didn't fight, didn't run. He simply surrendered. Hours later in Detroit, Perry, furious at being followed, walked straight into the FBI office to complain. He had no idea. They were about to arrest him. "Mr. Perry, you're under arrest for triple murder." And just like that, it was over. In 1995, James Perry went on trial first. Jurors needed just hours. Guilty, on all counts. He was sentenced to death, later reduced to life without parole. A year later, Lawrence Horn stood before the same court. He too was convicted. 3 life sentences. Neither man ever confessed. But the story didn't end in the courtroom. The victims' families filed a civil lawsuit, not against the killers, but against Paladin Press, the publisher of Hitman. They argued the book had aided and abetted murder, and they won. The publisher paid millions and permanently withdrew the book from sale. It became one of the most controversial free speech cases in American history. A man who once engineered music engineered murder. A mother, a child, and a nurse, killed for greed, and a killer who followed a manual, believing it could teach him to get away with it. But in the end, every manual leaves fingerprints. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to unleash and explore more untold stories and hidden truths.